Welcome to Backstage Money, real world finance for musicians. I'm your host, Jason K. Powers, and today is an exciting episode. I am very excited about this one, and I think you're going to want to take notes. Today, I am joined by Mark Maxwell, owner of Maxwell's House of Music, a lifelong musician, a mentor to thousands of players through his store, lessons, and stage programs. We're going to talk shop about building your music business, serving a community, keeping the art alive. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jason. Glad to be here. It's a wonderful thing. Talking music, talking money.
Yeah.
I like both of those things.
That's right. We love it. And I'm loving the throne thing for our viewers. Those of you who are watching on streaming of some kind, I love the throne scene we have going on here. That's great.
This is something that it was the idea of several people here. And I just kind of all came together. There's a fireman in our town who was taking guitar lessons, and we were talking about making a Game of Thrones out of the Guitar Hero guitars, and he said, I can build that for you. I mean, you should see this thing. It's massive, and it's really amazing. So, yeah, it is fun.
So fun.
But anyway, so how you doing?
Yes,
you doing good?
Yeah, doing awesome. I love chatting with you and just kind of learning all the insight you've got, which we're going to kind of unpack a little bit. But first, give me who is Mark Maxwell? How'd you get here? We were talking
how to get here.
How'd you get here? Yeah.
Yeah, my family, my dad is a drummer. Played here in the Louisville area. I'm in southern Indiana, which is Jeffersonville, Indiana, and right across the bridge. If you go across the bridge, you're in Louisville, right? So home of the Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the goodies. But so I grew up in this area. My dad was a drummer. His band played on the Dick Clark Caravan of Stars back in the day, right? Which was a famous kind of thing that toured the countryside. And anyway, then he eventually started working at music stores and then opened a music store. And then I went to work for my dad, and eventually I opened my own store. So I worked with the family for a very long period of time. I've always played music since I was a kid. I've been in several bands. I was in an original band for 10 years, and then I was played here, there, and everywhere, and eventually ended up playing in a band that I play in now called the Crashers. Been the same 6 guys for 17 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And people will ask me all the time. They'll say, "Man, how'd your band stay together?" I say, "'Cause we make a bunch of money." And when you're paid a lot of money to be in a band, you stay in that band, right? Particularly that these guys are also very nice. Yeah. And so, I've always worked at a music store. I've always played music in a band. It's the kind of the two things that have been always, in my life. I love doing it. I love people that play music. I want to encourage people to play music. And my brother is the drummer in my band. He owns a drum store directly next door to me. So I have this store, which is mostly guitars and keys and some electronic drums, but my brother's way into drums, and he has a custom kind of drum store next door to me. So, so it's kind of been a family thing all my life that this is what we did. We played music, right? So we don't know any more or any less than that. My dad, I would think you'd probably say he's kind of the godfather of music in Louisville, Kentucky, right? That kind of, he's just been around here forever, and he's done a lot of things. And he's done a lot of good for the you know, I think that's where I get everything that I do. He definitely is. Yeah. He's been around it forever. He owned, the biggest music store in town as far as that goes. And he the best thing is that he taught me how to give back, right? My dad was in a real bad car wreck. I was 10th grade in school, and he had a really bad car wreck, and he was a drummer. He was working at his music store during the daytime and, of course, playing gigs 6 nights a week, because back in the day, that's what you did. Musicians played 6 nights a week. He was playing, was driving home, he wrecked. It was a really horrific accident, and it took him a long time to heal. But after that fact, his friends got together and put on a big community benefit from my dad, and all
Hmm.
kinds of money came in. I remember this. Like I said, I was 10th grade. I remember at home when we got done after that event, there was cash on our kitchen table, like just stacks of money. And I remember my dad saying, "Well, we need this much to survive. Now I'm going to take the rest of this and I'm going to give it away." And so he started a thing in town in Louisville called MRF, the Musicians Emergency Relief Fund. And so if you were somebody and you needed some money, my dad would hand you money. So literally a drummer had a car wreck, got all his teeth knocked out. My dad bought him new teeth, right? Um, he always called it putting beans on the table. If you couldn't afford your electricity bill, my dad would try to pay for it. It was like, so he was very good at taking care of the people in his town, right? And so that was, I think I learned really well from him doing what he did. So again, eventually I did my own store, doing my own vibe. And of course, if you're in a band, that was a that was a fluke, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
One of my guys at the store said, "Hey, sit down and tell me what you would do because your band's very successful." I built a band in the town. We were it was the first band I ever treated like a business. First time ever in my life. Like I really
Hmm.
just kind of always played in the band. Hey, let's go play because that's what they call it, play. Let's go play music. Let's just
Hmm.
play. It's not real. It's just play. But I
Well,
was like, I really want to build a business, right? I want to build something that's going to be great. And so I started a band and we treated it like a business from the get-go, and it kind of blew up. And anyway, a couple of years ago, one of my employees said, "Hey, you need to talk about building a band and what it takes and what you ought to do," and because I'm always giving people advice. And so I did it. I
that's
did
it.
it really for the people in the Louisville area, right? Um, it wasn't supposed to go nationwide or worldwide. And now people in Australia and
Mhm.
New Zealand and Canada and everywhere else are watching it. So it's been a crazy
That's
thing.
right. A- And for those of you who don't know of this, what Mark is talking about, can I just say it? If
Sure.
if you're in a band,
No, no, no.
if you're in a
Come
band,
on.
and so that's
No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no. Come on. If you're going to say it right.
we're gonna do it. If you're in a band,
No,
Mark is
come
gonna teach you
on.
some things today.
No,
Come on.
no. If you're in a band,
If you're
that's
in a
how.
band,
That's it. If you're
if
in a band is how it started.
all
So
right,
it
if
started kind of
you're in a
goofy,
band,
right?
that's it.
That's right.
That's it.
If you're in a band, you do whatever, right? You drink a lot of water before the weekend, right? Because you're going to get dehydrated, right? If you're in a band at practice, maybe you should practice really soft so you can hear every mistake, right? So and also that you can work on your dynamics. Like I gave all of the tips that I possibly could come up with. I still do
Hmm.
uh, to this day. But yes, if you're in a band, maybe you ought to think about how much money. The first one I did was all about money. It was about valuing your time, right? More than anything. It was like,
Hmm.
so the very first one kind of got me in some hot water because I was like, hey, I've spent my life um, learning to play guitar, to be a singer, to rehearse, to play in my bedroom, to rehearse with the band, um, and played a bunch of gigs. And by now, with all that time I've put in, I could have been a surgeon. I mean, literally, I could have been a
Hmm.
surgeon, right? So why am I not being paid like a surgeon, right? Why is it that musicians, and I'll tell you why it is, but it just blows my mind that we don't value the amount of time that we've put into this thing we call playing music, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and 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 so until you value your time more, you're never going to really make any money. And
Hmm.
people will say, "Oh, it's my town. My town won't allow that to happen." That's not true at all. We proved it. We were all playing in $500 bands 17 years ago. Literally playing in each one of us playing in bands that were $500 a night, right? And we built this thing, and in less than 5 years, we were at a level that's just ridiculous, financially, meaning. And so I think we kind of proved that we could do it, right? And then I wanted to share it with the world. And so I did. Actually, I wanted to share it with people in Louisville. But it made it around the world, and now we're sitting here talking about it because you've seen it before, right?
That's right.
And so I did nothing, like we didn't do anything that made it go where it went. It was just obviously something that no one had ever talked about, and it just grew very quickly. So strange but true. So
yeah.
Anyway,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So on the advice you give in this series, you've got, I don't know how many points you have now out there.
200 something.
Okay. So what do you think, what's the top 2 or 3 that stand out for you the most, lessons for artists that maybe save them time or money, or relates to money and habits, or building the business on, just monetarily speaking, what can they learn?
Now, it just depends on your goals. So if you said, hey, I want to there's 2 sides to this. I want to be an original band, or I want to be a cover band. So when you get into this thing, there are 2 roads to choose from. Hey, I want to be a cover band. Okay, let's talk about that, what that means. I want to be in an original band, right? Those 2 roads are different. And I think when you say first, this is what we're going to be an original band. Okay. We're going to be a cover band. Okay. I do think it's important to be one or the other. I just don't know many bands that have done really well being both. So I would say choose one. At least start by saying we're going to be this or we're going to be that. And then you have to say, well, what are my goals? What do I really want from this? Well, after me living for such a long period of time, I was 42 when we started the band that I'm in called the Crashers. And here's what we came up with. We sat around a table and everybody said, well, if this could be the last band you ever played in, what would make you stay? What would make you want to stay here and do this? Well, one guy said, well, I'd like to make the most money I've ever made playing in a band. Okay, write that down. Next guy said, I don't want to play past 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, write it down. The other guy said, what was it? Oh, I want to play in front of the most amount of people that any band's ever played in our town. Okay. And the other guy said, I want to play the best gigs in our town. Next person said, I don't ever want to move my equipment again, right? I want somebody else to move my equipment for me. So we wrote down all those things as goals. Here are the goals. So what would we have to do to get these 6 goals that we wrote down? Well, how would we get there? And so we just kind of reverse engineered. Like I said, okay, so guys, we're all standing on, this took weeks and months of talking, right? Because it was like a game plan. It was like, hey, here's how we're going to win. And I don't think enough bands do that. I think they think it's all about getting in and rehearsing the band and being in a rehearsal room and then go playing a gig. It's really not. It's where is your destination? Where do you want to go with this thing? What do you want to happen and see happen? And where can your limiting beliefs, if you know anything about limiting beliefs, you should study these. Limiting beliefs stop you from getting wherever you want to go. And I think that's the biggest problem that I had when I was younger. I don't have them anymore. I do have beliefs about myself still. That's really strange, but I try to talk myself out of them. So I think we as musicians have our beliefs that we can only go this far, or we can only be worth this much money. And if you'll just kind of get rid of that belief and believe a little higher level, you can do anything you want. I mean, my band, it's weird, man, how we ended up. I've started to do some Zoom calls with bands to where they're all sitting in a room and I'm sitting there with them and I'm trying to say, all right, tell me where you guys want to go and I'll help you get there. Right. I've started to do that more and more lately because I don't know if they can see the end result very well.
Mhm.
And I'm a guy who can go, okay, if these are the goals, how would we get there? How would we, if this was going to be the end cap of what we were going to do, what would it take to get there? And so we got there literally in 3.5 years and strongly there by 5 years of being a band. So by the 5th year, we were solid with every goal that we had, right? And with that, I was like, wow. But the problem is we were too dumb and we stayed at that same level for 5 more years, as opposed to going, hey, wait a minute, what if we doubled up on all of this, right?
Mhm.
Because we set a financial goal. This is how much we're going to be a night, right? And it was so ridiculous that none of us could even believe it, but we tried. It was like, hey, let's be $5,000 a night, right? Let's be $5,000 a night. We were all playing in $500 bands.
Mhm.
Let's be $5,000 a night. That was just like literally saying, hey, I'm going to do a long jump and I can only jump 5 feet, but I'm going to go ahead and jump 10 feet, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
goal myself, right?
Yeah.
So we goaled something we never thought we could do, but we thought, why not just try to get our belief system behind
Mhm.
it? And so we did, and we ended up getting there, and then we went way further than that. And now, like, it's just amazing how if you just stopping yourself from doing great stuff,
Mhm.
you can do anything you set your mind
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I don't know. I think we've proven it as a band. What I'd like to do is I'd like to prove it because I've proven what you could do with in a cover band. But now I'd like to take these same principles on an original band and say, all right, let me show you step by step what we did to get there, right? Because I
Mhm.
can tell you what we did step by step to get us to the point of being a very expensive cover band, right?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell you how to do that, and also how to stay together. You know,
Yeah.
again, money keeps you together. If you're making a lot of money, why not, right?
Well, and let's talk about that for a second. Like on the flip side of it, what's some of the biggest, you know, money making mistakes you see young bands, local bands make when it comes to growing
Well,
and
they don't
building?
know. I'll tell you this: if I was a young band again, I would. I'd offer myself, and I got criticized for this too, but I would offer myself up to free to one place in my town. So if I lived in any city, I would go find a pizza joint or a bar somewhere that doesn't have much going on. You could go to with your band and walk in and say, "Hey, could we be your house band every Monday night?" Right? We
Hmm.
don't want anything for it. We don't want to, I know I went to a place and said, tell me your worst night. Well, Monday nights are definitely our worst night. Okay. Could we come here and play every week for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours every week and just invite our friends and make this thing a big deal? They said, yeah. Well, we started doing that and then that place got packed to the point it was a big deal. Well, then you go around to all the rest of the places in town and say, hey, come see us this Monday night. We're going to be playing at this place. It's packed full of people. And anybody that owns any place in town is going to walk in and go, oh my
Hmm.
gosh,
Yeah.
I want this band to play at my place. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would tell young bands to try to find a place where they can kind of become a really good band and be consistent. Like, again, once a week gigs somewhere where they can go in and set up and play, invite all their friends, and eventually they invite everybody on the planet to come see their band. I would do that in my town again if it was me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I just think that the biggest problem is that you're not being seen. There's not enough people in your town that know who you are. Um, my band's a pretty popular band, but you can still walk down the street and say, hey, have you ever heard of a band called the Crashers? And people go, no,
No. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 17 years. So you would
Hmm.
think everybody in this town would know who we are, and they don't. So I would also, again, most people don't know who you are as a band. And so you've got to find a way to get people to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think
Mm-hmm.
as a young band, that would be my first thing to do. And then as you pack the place and the guy's making money hand over fist on whatever, pizza, beer, whatever, then ask for some money. Start getting paid well to play that gig. And then when other people show up from other clubs to try to book you, you can say, hey, man, this is what we ask for. This is the price. Second thing is that everybody prices themselves way under, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are bands in this town playing for $300. There are bands playing for $500. Are they crazy? Seriously. Like, I just blows my mind that now here's the thing. If you can't draw any people, can't ask what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If I can pack your place out, I'm worth a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the right question is, what would make people show up and watch my band?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's the right question to ask. Not, how do I make more money? Well, how do you get more people? Because if you have a whole bunch of people showing up and watch your band, guess what happens? You can ask for whatever you want. And I'll be glad, or anybody be glad to pay you. You pack their place.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. How do you pack a room? How do
Yep.
you get followers?
Well, and I know there's a lot of, right now in particular, a discussion going on in the online platforms about, do you even take a chance in doing these free gigs? Or, some have an issue with that, right? And
You don't,
probably where you got some pushback.
You should have an issue with it, but you pick one place. You
Yep.
don't, I can't use that word. You don't give yourself away. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the harshest word for that, but don't give yourself away, right? In other words, give yourself away at one place. Find one place that's not doing very well, that you can go in, set up your gear, play a show, invite all your friends, all your family, and then start meeting people to say, hey, every Monday night we do this thing. As you build that, it shouldn't take you 4 to 8 weeks before the place is kicking, right? And you can go back to the guy and say, hey, man, this is how much we want to do this thing and stay here at your place on Monday nights. He'll pay you whatever. I mean, literally, he'll pay you a very good sum because the fact is you're making money. That's what happened to us. We had found a little pizza place. Guy wasn't making any money. On a Monday night, we started playing. And the next thing you know, we're like, a very popular thing. The place is packed. And the guy's paying us good money to play his gig. And
Mm-hmm.
then we didn't play free anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere. So if somebody came to us and we'd say, hey, yeah, we're $1,000. It was simple, Simon. We were a young band and it worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, okay, we'll pay you $1,000. That was 3 times more than any band was making at the time,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with people playing a free gig as long as it's the same gig and you don't want to give yourself away at every place in town. So just pick one place, start there, build your crowd, build your following. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's great. I think there's something to be said about too, where in a way, you're starting out like that. You're helping them. They're helping you. It's not just about, let me come in and me, right? It's a little bit of give.
Listen,
right?
My dad always said to me, he said, look, a good deal is a good deal for you and a good deal for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't win and they lose. They can't win and you lose. What's happening, that's the problem, is that a lot of people, I'm not going to blame it on clubs, but there are a lot of places in town who are winning. And the music, matter of fact, I'll tell you who's winning. Nashville, Tennessee is winning. Every club in that place has got a lot of people in their club. And here's a band in there. And every one of those musicians is losing because they're playing for pennies. They're playing for pennies and they should stop playing in Nashville, period. Nashville's the music city. Well, show us the love. Show us the love. If you're the music city, why don't you pay us to play? Because you're making a ton of money in your bar, and they are, through sponsorships, through the people standing at the bar paying $12 for a beer. Give me a break, right? So Nashville makes me really, my blood boil. But
Mm-hmm.
you know why? Mostly because the musicians will just be like, well, we can't do anything to stop it. Well, yeah, you can not play there. You can absolutely say no. Matter of fact, you call me, I'll be glad to talk you through how to make your band profitable. On the cover side, it's hard to make it profitable on the original side, but we can talk about ways to do that too. But I think people are giving themselves away, their talent, what they've worked their whole lives towards, right? And I think it's a travesty. I do.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my
Yeah.
heart,
Yeah.
especially in Nashville, Tennessee. Breaks my heart. I go down there and watch musicians playing, and I know they're playing for pennies, and it just breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how do people wrestle with the mindset of, well, because I'm sure a lot of them are, I don't want to turn this down because I don't want to lose the exposure, right? And for me to say no just means no work, you know.
Yeah,
Does it really, you know what I
I
mean? So
hear.
there's that fear of, well, if I keep saying no to stuff like this, and what to do, you know, I'll never get anywhere, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. That is something. It's not right, but it's something. I will say this to you. If I'll use the word, I can't use that word. Trying to not be raw and nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can tell you what worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
We built something that had a killer website, and it looked like we were rock stars on our website. And we pushed that website to every bar, every joint in town, every event place, every dressmaker, every a tuck shop, every flower shop, any place that we thought was going to be some kind of event, one of the three, either a public event, a corporate event, or maybe even a wedding. And so we pushed our website out to everybody. And then when they called us, we priced ourselves out of the market heavily, right? To where we had to listen to no a lot for about 6 months or a year.
Mm-hmm.
But then by that point, something had happened where people had never heard a band say, no, I won't play,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we became the first choice for people to call. But we would say, yeah, I wish we could do that. We just can't. I wish we could. But we're $1,500 and you're looking for a $500 band,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people could not believe that I would not. Well, how about if we did 900? And I'd say, man, I wish we could. Well, what about $1,200? Man, I wish we could. I
Mm-hmm.
wish we could. Now, at that moment, you're valuing yourself, your time, your life, and your product that you're designing. Now, if you don't believe in your product, then fine, go give it away.
Mm-hmm.
Just go give it away. But if you spent your time and you thought about it and you worked hard and you built that product up, you wouldn't want to give it away. You just wouldn't want to. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense to me at all. So I don't care what band you're in. I know how to, there's about 25 things that you would have to do. But if you did all of those things, you could be very profitable. And your band could be one of the biggest bands in your community, in your town. You just have to change the way you're thinking because we are thinking wrong. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's we are thinking wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I say that all the time too, you know, the change your thinking. The change your thinking, and in my business, you know, it's change the way you think about your finances, and it will change your life. And it's
Totally
the
will.
same what you're saying. It's
It
just
will.
change the way you value yourself, the way you see yourself in the business,
Mm-hmm.
and what
Mm-hmm.
where are your boundaries, right? Where are
Right.
you going to draw lines and say, I'm just not going to cross this line, even though it's tempting, you know?
Man, it's very tempting. And here's the thing, my guys in my band got very mad at me the first year because I'd said no to a lot of good things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good things. I mean, like things that I would have never said no to in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Never. And they were like, why don't we do this? What are we doing? I said, we're getting everybody to respect us is what we're doing. We're getting everybody in this town to understand that we value our time, we value what we're doing, and we're creating this buzz in the town that we may have something special. Now, you do have to show up when you do show up with something special, right? You have to show up and swing a big bat. And of course, we had a whole year to work on swinging a big bat, and we eventually did. We got to that point to where, hey, we can go in here and swing a really big bat, and it's going to work for us. So yeah, it's almost like a band. It's weird. I even told my guys when we were playing, I was like, "Don't quit your band that you're playing in now. Don't quit your band." Because you're going to be mad at me because I'm going to let go of all these great gigs that your band's not even getting offered, but we're going to get offered, and I'm going to say no to them so that they'll believe that we're a better product than not. I mean, it's like anything else, man. It's me holding up a Mercedes key and me holding up a Ford key and me saying, which one would you like to have? And if you said, if I said, here's a free car sitting outside, which one would you pick? Jason, would you pick the Mercedes key or would you pick the Ford key?
Pick the free Mercedes, man.
It would. Why? You would. Everybody would. Why?
Yeah, more value.
Because you believe it's more value.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You believe this key is more value. And it could very well be. Or that Mercedes sitting out beside could have 250,000 miles and be a 2002, and this Ford key could have been a brand new one right off the lot with no mileage on it and worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So perception is what we're selling here, right? How do you get people to perceive that your band is worth more than the next band, right? And then how do you deliver? How do you deliver? How do you become something that's so good that draws so many people that you're undeniable, right? That's what I can teach a band to do. That's what I can teach anybody to do in two ways. I can teach them in the business sort because everybody goes in the rehearsal room and rehearses. They rehearse wrong, by the way, but they do rehearse. So I have a specific way to rehearse a band, and I have a specific way to deal with the business that actually does work and will, but I don't know that we ever learned how to rehearse, right? In the rehearsal room. And I don't think no one ever taught us how to run our business at all. Matter of fact, it's barely ever talked about. This is the music business, right?
Right.
It really is. And how do you get ahead in that? How do you win that fight? And so I don't know. I think that's why I started doing these if you're in a band things, is because I felt like I knew how to do it, and I proved how to do it with more than just my band. There are now bands in our town that are making ridiculous money, right? And they're just following our direction, right? Kind of what we did and how we did it. So anybody can do this in any town, everywhere in the world. And people will say to you straight up, it won't happen in my town. Okay. You're right. It will not happen in your town. 100%. You are 100% correct. Or you can say, I'm going to change everything about my town and how it works. And so it can be done. It just takes a brave soldier to take off on this thing. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's great. So what's one piece of advice on the back end? So, we've talked about a little bit of getting paid. Okay, so now you've gotten paid, or you're consistently getting paid. What are some practical advice steps for bands at that point, or maybe don't do this? In other calls we talk about, where not to place your money. Make sure you're warehousing your money a little bit somewhere.
Investing money? Oh my, yes. I tell you what I wish we would have done. I wish that our band would have done what we talked about going into year 5. If we would have, we would have been a much better off band, right? Whether it was in taking a portion of our money, because what we did with our money is we split that money up. We put each guy, there were 6 guys who started the band. Each one of them got 10%. Okay. So whatever money we were getting, 10% was going to, so 60% of the money was off the table. So now there's 40% of the money. Now we knew we wanted a road crew, and we were like, well, how much is that going to cost us? Right. Well, it's going to cost us $300 to get a few guys to set up our gear and tear it down. Okay. So we budgeted that, which was about 20% of the money. Right. But then we had this other 20% that was left over. So we got into the point, we were even doing that to this very day. We talk about percentages. Like that person's paid 2% of our money, or that person's paid 3% of our money. Like we know again, it is a business. Like it is a real business. And so reinvesting that money, whether it be in real estate or in the stock market, or however you decide to reinvest so that your band can come out of this thing and actually have some kind of money to survive with, right? In the long run of life. Yeah, I can't say enough about that. I wish we would have done better than what we did. We did do a good thing. It's just, the hindsight's 2020 situation. It's like
Sure.
you get through it and you go, man, just imagine. As a matter of fact, if you're an original band, my opinion, I'll say this. I think you should record 12 songs a year, right? Every month, I think you should go in the studio and cut a song and release it. Every month. Release it, release it, release it, release it. If you did that, in 3 years, you'd have 3 full records out, right? But what happens with original bands is they'll go and they'll record something, and then they don't record anything for 2 or 3 years later, right? If that. The consistency of anything works better than nothing, and that's money or anything else. So you want big muscles? Go to the gym and lift a weight every day. You'll have big muscles. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to be a stronger person if you go to the gym and do that. If your band does the same thing, be consistent. If you're writing songs, be consistent. If you're recording songs, be consistent. If you've got money that you've made and you're making good money, like all of my personal money from my band, I live on my day job and my band is my fun money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I travel with that money. I invest with that money. I do all kinds of things with that money from my band, as opposed to using it, right? In any kind of, living expense way. So I have 2 jobs. I work at a music store that pays my electricity, my house, my car, whatever that is, right? My living expenses. So it's another thing. Most musicians cannot survive on just being a musician, even though there are a lot of guys in this town that are just musicians. But a lot of them also will learn to teach. So there'll be teachers during the day, musicians at night. So investment wise, yeah, I wish we would have been smarter. I really do. It's especially since we've been together for 17 years, because for the last 12 years of that, we could have had a killer nest egg, as opposed to not realizing it till about year 10 that we should have done it. Yeah.
And that's a conversation that comes up just in about every recording we do is you hear it. I wish I would have started some kind of nest egg, some kind of saving, some kind of something when I got started or early on, or when I can't, right? And I think that's a common theme throughout this. And that's actually one of the main reasons I wanted to start this podcast to begin with, was because you hear that, you run into situations, you start seeing musicians, even very well-known musicians, internationally known, who haven't been on the forefront lately. Some crisis happens, and all of a sudden there's a GoFundMe page up. And
you're thinking, why in the world does that guy have a GoFundMe page? Right.
Right. Yeah. And it's, thankful that there are institutions like GoFundMe where they have that capability, but also, my gosh, if we could instill some systems and processes and planning in the early years and get those kinds of things put in place where you have these safety nets and you don't have to go to the public, for that kind of thing.
Well, this is exactly, it's not yeah, it's an interesting thing because you're dealing. Okay, so you work really hard to be able to do something, and all of a sudden you get to that point to where, oh wow, I'm now making a good living by playing music.
Hmm.
But you forget that one day you're going to have a bad back. You're not going to be able to walk. Your knees
Hmm.
are shot, whatever it be, and you have no money left, right? At all. You have no nest egg whatsoever. Nest egg is not a word musicians use, right?
Hmm.
Which is why most people leave being a musician and they go do anything else, right? In the whole
Hmm.
wide world. Which is kind of sad. Again, we don't charge enough money for what we do and how long it's taken us to get to this point to be able to do this. And we don't need to give ourselves away, and we need to get paid better. And then we need to realize what we do with that money. Even if it's just 20% of your money, there you go. Okay. For the rest of my life, no matter what, 20% of my money is going to go somewhere else. I'm going to save that money. I'm going to invest that money. I'm going to buy I have a friend who took all his and just did real estate, right? Now he's up to like 27 houses, right? It's crazy. And I'm
Hmm.
like, dude, I've seen several musicians do that.
Hmm.
I remember where they actually kind of started, again, any kind of investment, anything is good, right? Just take 20% of your money. And if you don't know anything to do with it, get a guy like you, right? You're out there talking about this because it is a need. It's
Hmm.
horrific. It's crazy to me is what it is. But
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Who am I? I'm just some dude from Indiana.
Yeah. Hey, you made it this far. You made it this far.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I've had fun.
So, all right. All right. The, if you're in a band, what's probably your favorite piece of advice that comes up and people are like, I never thought about that. I mean, do you have
I don't
something that's like,
know.
it's probably every point.
Nah.
I'm sure every point you give is like, everybody's like, wow, but what's
But
kind of one that stands out
a
for you?
lot
What's your
of people,
favorite one?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's a favorite point. I think I don't think there is. I mean, there's points that people say, I know this. I just didn't think about it, right? I
Hmm.
know this. I never thought about it like this. Or I know these tips. I just don't think about them often, and now it's bringing me back to to thinking about them. So I don't
Hmm.
know what to say about that. I don't think there's any one point. I do think I do think that I do think I wish that we would have more conversations. That's what I
Hmm.
wish. I wish we'd have more conversations about what we're doing, but we kind of get in our little bubble of our band and we don't really have community with other bands. So I think if I was going to talk about anything, it's trying to make a community of people, like-minded people in your town. So all the cover bands, not that you're starting you know, you don't have to start you know, a
Networking group
group
or
or I
something.
mean, but
Yeah.
it is a thing to have a community of people who do what you do in your own town,
Hmm.
so that you guys can talk about, how because there's bands in town doing things I wish I was doing, right? And so it's not like I know everything. I'm watching other bands and learning from them. It's not, I just keep learning. But I tell you what I won't do is keep making the same mistake over and over, right? How
Hmm.
stupid is that? You know, I will not do that. Um, yeah. So, and I think the next phase for me and my band is that we've kind of become a backup band for a lot of bigger artists now. So we're going down to the Dominican and playing a show, and we're going to play in Vegas also, backing up Mike Reno from Loverboy and John Elefante from
Yeah.
Kansas and several people like that. So we've become that band that's kind of like a backup band for artists. In other words, it was like, okay, we would just want to play this bar in our town, right?
Hmm.
To where, well, we want to play this event. Well, we want to play this event. And we just kept stacking it to the point to where, wow, all of a sudden Kid Rock's standing on stage with us. And we're like, how did this happen? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know how it happened. And now all I want to do is try to share it, but it's a very individualized thing, right? So I can say all these tips and you can try to put your own little roadmap together, but until we had a conversation about your specific band. Your specific band is going to be different than my band.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really need to decide, how do we deal with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we deal with your band? Like, what is it that you have, or what would you do or want to do, and how far can that take you? You know,
Yep.
my friend started a AC/DC tribute band, and he went to this point, and he knew it wasn't going to go any bigger. Now it got big, as opposed to most of the bands were down here. His band that was doing an AC/DC tribute band was here. Then he left that band to go do something that's now way up here, right? Because he saw the opportunity and thought, I want this opportunity to last, and I want it to be big, and I want to make a lot of money doing my thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we are our biggest limiters of everything. So
Yeah. So in that thought, you just rolled out something new that's helpful for bands, and
yeah.
I've got it, right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Tell us about that.
I don't know. What's it called? What do I call it?
The gig sheet.
It's a gig sheet. It's just one of the little tips we do. If we're going to book a gig, because there are 6 people that are in our band, then we have a sound man, that's 7. Then we have 4 crew members. That's 11 people that have to know. Oh, we also have a merch person. 12. Wait. Right. There are 14 people that my band supports.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us have to be on the same page. So when we book a gig, the person that books that gig fills out that sheet. And that sheet is an electronic sheet that I can look at. So I know this weekend where I'm playing. I can go to my phone. I can say, all right, here's where I'm playing. This is what time we're playing. This is how long the gig lasts. This is, are they providing a PA system? So it's all the questions that need to be answered on the front side, so that everybody, the drummer just shows up and all he's got is a pair of sticks because he thought there was going to be a drum set.
Yep.
We've got a problem, right? And there's no drum set. So this one sheet, which is a free thing, I'd give it all away if I could. But this is a one sheet that's free that you can go to our website at maxwellshouseofmusic.com. Your band can take this, use it, change it the way they want to use it or whatever, or just print ours off and be able to have it. But what this does is answers all the questions on the front side so that you know what's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. And that everybody in your band, without having to say a word, right? Hey, the one sheet's up on this gig, here it is, right? I tell everybody, get a Google Calendar, so that everybody knows what's happening, right? Have that. Mm-hmm. And then 2 is, on the Google Drive is where we put this piece so that I know I'm playing this weekend, where I'm playing, what's going on, everything about that gig. No one has to talk at all. So it's a good way to communicate. I'm soon going to drop an agreement. Some people would call it a contract, but it's not legal. It's the agreement that I use for every gig that we play. So when we're going to play a gig, we send them an agreement that says, we're going to do this and you're going to do this. Here's how we're going to promote it. Here's how you're going to promote it. Here's how we win this thing together. That person signs that, sends it back to me, right? With half of the money. No matter what. I don't care if it's a year from now, right? So this is the stuff we have to talk about. So then we take that money, remember, that we booked for next year, and we stick it in a certain account. Mm-hmm. You want to make some money? Upcoming gigs can make you a lot of good money as an investment piece, right? Mm-hmm. We can talk about that someday. But anyway, bottom line gets down to, so the one sheet right now is called the gig sheet, and that gig sheet will 100% teach you how to run your band just a little bit better. So, did you look at it?
I did. I got it right here. Here. I love you even got payment info, production and logistics. The band, the promos, marketing, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, hey, it is great. It's one of the best things ever. It's like, again, if you want to be a professional band, act like it. Mm-hmm. I mean, just, if you were going to if you were going to open a lamp store tomorrow next door, you'd have to have the building and a computer and lamps and light bulbs. You'd have to put up a sign. You'd have to advertise. You'd have to you'd have to do all of this stuff to open up a business. So why don't you do all those things to open up a business? You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do, is to get them to mind that this isn't just about playing guitar, playing drums, playing keyboards, singing in a band. This is another step in life. This is how do you start a real business called whatever you want to call it, right? How do you start a business called the Foo Fighters? Foo Fighters is a killer business. Kiss, killer business, right? They are. Yeah, they're creative and good, but they've built themselves an amazing business. We're all businesses. It's just some of them are doing good and some of them suck, right? And I don't mean musically. I'm talking about financially, right?
Business. Yeah.
Business.
A lot of great musicians out there, a lot of bad business people as musicians. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad for me. It's so sad. It's so sad. And a lot of people say, well, I don't care. Well, you do. I mean, that's, again, another reason our band stayed together for so long, is that we're all doing pretty good financially in it, right? So if you're doing pretty good financially, it's harder to quit something. Plus the guys in my band don't suck. They're all nice people. I like them, right?
Yeah.
That also
helps.
makes I tell people the first thing I ever did, we sit down at the table, and I was like, look around this table. Are you sure that we can all survive this without killing each other? Right? That was like the first question I ever answered.
Yeah.
Are these good enough people? Yeah, they are good people. And I want to be in a band with them. Now what? Right?
Yep.
Well, let's make our goals and then figure out how to get there.
All right. Yeah. So tell us again, where can people see all your bits about if you're in a band? Where can people get the gig sheet and learn more about what you got going on?
Yes, maxwellshouseofmusic.com. That will take you straight to everything that you need. If you want to buy a piece of gear, we have a great music store here. It's a beautiful place. If you want to get ready for a tour, we have a great facility to do that, as far as like rehearsal rooms and things like that. It's a great place. But if you want this gig sheet for free, maxwellshouseofmusic.com, definitely go there, get the gig sheet. It's pretty cool. It's a good way to do business. And if anybody wants to, in this whole wide world, want to talk to me about their band and how to make it bigger and better, 812-283-3304. I'll be glad to have a conversation. I want you to win. And I want us as a musician culture to win. What's scaring me is this. Can I say this real quick? Here's what's scaring me. I put a thing out on, if you're in a band, to say, hey, do me a favor. Thanks for watching, but tell me how old you are, what instrument you play, and where you're from. So the guy says, hey, I'm from Hawaii, right? I'm 72 years old and I'm a drummer. Well, we put all that stuff into AI and we figured out that the average age of the person that's watching, if you're in a band, is 58 years old.
Oh, wow.
Why is that? That's a question you have to ask. Why? Well, we had the Beatles. We had the Eagles. We had Van Halen. We had Motley Crue. We had rock band. We had bands. We didn't have this.
The phone, yeah.
And so we're losing musicians. And not only that, how many parents are going to say, hey, I want you to become a musician when you get older? Nobody. No parent says that. They're like, you want to starve? Be a musician. That's what parents say to their kids. We have to change that attitude of, hey, this is a lucrative business to be in, right? It's a good thing to be a musician. It's a wonderful thing. It's all about, and again, I want it to be financially great because I know how great it is for my soul, right? And finances will never catch up with how wonderful music is for the soul. Period. But wouldn't it be nice, instead of being down here at the finances, that we could be right up in here, right? Wouldn't it be great? Soul getting fed, stomach getting fed.
That's it. That's it. Preach it, man. Preach it.
I know. I'm
Preach it.
sorry. I'm sorry, but somebody
That's
has to
it.
say it.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, okay, all right. Every show we like to wrap things up with a segment called Final Riffs. This is where we kind of turn down the storytelling and we crank up the honesty and ask our guests a few quick hitting questions. Some pull out real lessons from life and music. Some shed light on who they are as a person in the hot seat. You know, you never know
Yeah.
what kind of gems are going to come out of this part. So, Mark, this is where we loosen it up and we get a little reflective. You ready?
All right. No,
All
but I'll
right.
do it anyway.
No, we leave out the what color is your underwear kind of questions. You know, we don't
Okay.
ask.
I don't wear it. No, sorry. Go.
All right, real quick, if you could go back and tell your younger self one thing about the business side of music, what would it be? It's the hardest one first.
Oh, wait. No, it's not hard at all. I would say to my younger self, be the best you. Don't try to be anybody else. I spent too much of my time young trying to be like Kiss and be like Van Halen and be in all these bands that I wanted to be like, as opposed to being the best me. That'd be the first thing on the creative side of things. The second thing is to realize also financially, you can have anything you want at a younger age. You just have to know how to ask for it. And so it took me so long. I could teach a 20-year-old kid how to do this really well right now. And I'm 59. It took me a long time to figure it out. If they would listen. The problem is,
Do they listen?
will they listen? Yeah.
That's right. All right. Who's someone in the music industry that has impacted you the most and why?
My dad, probably, just because he was instrumental in me learning to be a good musician, right? Yeah, I would have to say he was. My mom taught me to be a good human. My dad taught me to be a good musician, right? And I would say that's probably where that all started.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I hear that a
Yep.
lot coming from the parents, right? It trickles down.
They very, very much were supportive of what I wanted to be and do. So, yeah.
All right.
Good.
What does success in the music business look like for you now, and how has that definition changed over time? How would you define success?
Yeah, I thought success was being a star. That's what I thought it was going to be. But since that didn't happen, I had to, the alternative is that I can survive on how I do what I do, right? I can survive well. I could survive doing either one of these jobs, working in a music store or working in a band. I could survive on either one, but both of those together make it a pretty good lifestyle. So, yeah, I'd say that. Yep.
All right. Non-work related hobbies.
Yeah. How much? Nothing. No. I mean, I like to play basketball, I don't do it very often, but I like it. I used to go fishing all the time when I was a kid. That was one of my favorite things. I don't do that anymore either. I should probably do both those things. So I'm not going crazy out of my mind. There's nothing else. I'm a music guy. I wake up and I start my day. It's all day this. Today I'll spend my entire day working at this store. And then I'll go to rehearsal tonight. Right? So I don't know. I'm a music guy. I'm a music guy. Right. And so somebody said, what are you going to do when you retire? And I said, this is not something I retire from. This is retirement to me. Right? Now, maybe I don't stick around, do as many hours, but I don't know.
That's it. All right.
Yeah.
So then spinning off of that, if you couldn't do anything in the music industry, what would you be doing? Or do you think you'd ended up maybe if you couldn't have been in the music industry at all?
Oh, I definitely know the answer to this question. I don't know. I definitely know the answer to this question, but I don't know. I think, I don't know. I mean, I really like psychology. So I would probably have been a therapist or something like that, I think I would have liked that to a certain degree to help people. So maybe a therapist.
Okay. Final question. What's one thing you think every artist should be doing to build longevity in their career? One of many.
Being nice.
Be nice.
Yeah, be nice. I think, and again, it is just be nice and Yeah, and the more you do for others, it's just like your band. Your band is not there for you. Your band is there for them, right? You're on stage for someone else's relief of life. You're entertainment.
Hmm.
You're no more than a Netflix show. You're nothing but that. They're coming to see your band because their life is crap this week, right? Oh, they're too busy. I just got to get out and have a drink, go to the bar, whatever it be, right? I want to go see this band so I can forget about my life for a couple of hours. That's what you are. So be really good at that and be nice to those people because they've had a really rough week, and you're that, you're that movie that they go and see, and it takes them away to another place. You're their relief of life, and be that and be nice to them because without them, you are nothing. You don't have any kind of existence as a band. You can't go out and play gigs if no one shows up and watches you. Be very kind to those people.
That's great. Mark, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're a busy man. I know our listeners
Jason, I appreciate you having me, man. This is very cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing this.
I know our listeners appreciate it too, getting all the advice. And head on over to maxwellshouseofmusic.com. And okay, if this hit home with you, subscribe and share it with other musicians. And hey, if you want a system to keep your money working while you create, grab my free ebook, A Musician's Guide to Infinite Banking. It's at 1024wealth.com/music. And
I don't have that.
Touring.
I have to get that.
You got it coming. You got it coming. Then as soon as we're done, we'll get it going.
That's incredible. I can't wait to. I had no idea you did this. I have no idea what you do. Unbelievable.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
So imagine we talk about, imagine covering touring costs while your savings keep compounding. Or what if you could fund your next release without stopping the growth of your money along the way? That's what this ebook is about. So for our listeners, grab a free copy at 1024wealth.com/music. And when you're ready to see how this could fit in your own world, book a call and let's talk. Until then, you've been listening to Backstage Money, where music and money collide. We'll see you next time. And until then, keep creating and keep your money working. Mark, you want to close us out with, and if you're in a band, one more piece.
If you're in a band, you make some money and you save some money. That's it.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy. Thank you so much.